But Johnson had a great game. What was he doing so well? And did something happen in the previous game to keep him from playing?
Well, he didn't play the previous game. He had issues with rules, and so we were happy to have him back in the lineup. And when he didn't play, we took him, of course, on the trip, and he was on the sidelines, but he was a guy who was into the game, you know, helping out guys, even though he wasn't going to play. So when he had an opportunity, when he served his punishment and had an opportunity to get back onto the playing field, we were excited about his enthusiasm. We were excited about his week of preparation, and what he did in the game. You know, it showed for how he had practiced. So we just hope that his maturity and his leadership continues, you know, as we move forward through the rest of the season.
David did such a good job on Kieris Garrett, but their other receiver, Josh Atkinson, didn't have a catch until the fourth quarter, and by that time you'd already lost Horace Richardson. How did you keep him in check? Was it more of a scheme thing or an individual performance on the opposite side of the field?
Well, one of the things that they'd done throughout the season is that they'd had a lot of big plays to Kieris. So that was our focus, is that we wanted to take away what they did really well, and that was him. That was Kieris. And we said that, you know, yes, they do have other receivers, and they'll probably catch some balls, but it won't be like what they've done with him. And our cornerbacks, the other guys on the opposite side, away from Kieris, they kind of took that as a challenge, and they did some things when the scheme kind of left them hanging out there a little bit because we were doubling Kieris. They did some things really well, which also took away, you know, the opposite side receiver. Now, our front also did a really good job of pressuring the quarterback because he couldn't go through his reads the way that he'd been comfortable doing. You know, because when you evaluate those guys, when you scout those guys, not a lot of people would try to pressure him, and actually he was really good versus pressure. But we challenged our front that, you know, okay, we're going to pressure him. And so they came through. They did good things when we decided to pressure him in spots. And, you know, we tried to change up, keep them off balance as to when we would pressure. We pressured on first downs at times, which we don't do a whole lot, but we chose to pressure them on first downs. And they like, when you watch them, they like to toss the ball down the field to Kieris on first down, where most people were not bringing pressure. So our front did a really good job in helping with the coverage of those two guys.
You lose two important guys. How do you replace them?
Well, you know, you always hear it. You know, somebody else has to step up, and that's kind of what happened. You know, as we rolled through the game, it happens really fast, and you throw a guy out there before you realize it, and even before he realizes what is happening, and most of the times they come through. So with more practice, we'll just have a plan for, you know, getting more guys reps, and, you know, moving and shifting some guys around to be able to you know, to be able to play and hope that, you know, we don't have any more injuries.
One of the guys who got some reps after Kyron Mitchell went out was R.C. Cox. Once you looked at the film, what did you think of his performance?
Well, R.C., like I said, just being called into action without a lot of discussion, we thought he played well. We thought that, of course, R.C. always practices well, but he'd been battling with a few injuries the last few weeks himself, which kind of prohibited him from getting as many reps as we would have liked for him to get. So then he's able to, or he has to be forced into action, and he's been a good player for us. He's been a guy who's been conscientious, has paid attention in all the meetings. So we're excited about what he can bring. Of course, we never want to lose a player, definitely not a player like Kyron Mitchell. But the next guy, in all of these cases, the next guy just has to step up and go out there and do the same things that Kyron has done.
someone might look at 40 points and say it's just another tough performance for a defense that struggled, but you guys look like you made a lot more plays last game than a lot of the other ones. When you looked at the film, and then after a couple good weeks of defensive practice, so you're starting to see some of what made practice really good be applied in the game.
Well, you honestly today in today's football, you can't look at that score and you can't look at yards. You look at you have to look at the score, of course, but you look at the number of points that you give up per possession, and you try to get your guys to really, we're fighting to not give up big plays, to not make mistakes, to be sound, to tackle well in space, because those are the issues that have plagued us throughout the season. And for the last 2 weeks, we've done a much better job of that. For the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, 2 games ago, we had 11 tackles for loss, and in this game, you had 8 tackles for loss. So we are pushing them back, and what we have to continue to do, like Coach Morris has talked about, is to create turnovers to give our offense additional opportunities to score. And I mean, they're going to score some points. Offenses today, they're going to score some points. We're not in a place yet where we can just shut them out, but we're moving there, and our guys are continually getting better. And at this point, we have to acknowledge their improvement, and we have to keep encouraging them, keep pushing them to take away those negative things.
In a couple of red zone situations last week, Tulsa brought in the more mobile of their 2 quarterbacks, but the defense looked ready for it, dropped him for loss or short game. Was there an adjustment that you made for that type of look that maybe could apply this week against P.J. Walker?
Well, the quarterback that Tulsa brought in is a guy that he's thrown 3 passes. So it's a pretty easy adjustment that we're going to play the run in that situation. Well, PJ is not necessarily a runner. Even in the red zone, he's not necessarily a runner. They have capable backs for him to hand that ball off to for Temple. So you still have to be conscious of the pass with him, because they get into the red zone and they've shown empty formations. They've gotten in the red zone and they've shown big people. They've shown you all kinds of different formations and personnel groupings, but he is not the runner that President, the guy from last week, is. So you can't just totally key in on the run like we could with him, and take a chance that, you know what, he's thrown 3 passes. If he throws a pass here, we're going to go with the odds. Well, PJ is a little different.